You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I can be a mountain when you're feeling valley low. I can be a street light showing you the way home. 'Cause you can hold my hand when you need to let go. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire. Oh.
Let us take on the world while we is done. I want a house with a table by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world
Our child care provider, Shannon, is available to be with nursery age children in narthex in the back, or to accompany them to the nursery in the parish hall. As we begin our service today, we acknowledge that our church was built on the ancestral, unceded land of the Massachusetts people. We acknowledge the devastating legacy of settler colonialism and the continuing harm done to Indigenous peoples in our community and beyond. May our commitment to justice, equity, and compassion call us to make meaningful, restorative, and honor and protect all people. Your perspectives, your beliefs, and doubts is unique and wondrous about you to our service. In the spirit of love, all are welcome here. If you're new to Theodore Parker Church or are visiting today, we'd love to stay in touch. You're invited to fill out a connection card, which will give you an opportunity to sign up for our weekly updates and help us welcome you. A link to the connection card will be in the chat, as well as our contact information. Those joining us are encouraged to fill a contact card you'll find in your pew yellow pamphlet. We'd like to offer a moment for those joining us remotely to greet those who are joining us in person. So AV folks, please put our sanctuary screen in gallery view so we can see our offsite congregation. Let's give each other a big wave and say hello from offsite. And those in the sanctuary. And wait, the camera is behind the wave. Can you wave behind it? It's for our offsite congregants. For the next month, we'll be in the artwork of Gay Gellis, a new friend of the congregation. The pieces displayed around the sanctuary are from her stories called Confinement as Correction. We hope you'll take some time to explore these pieces, which prison as both a setting and a metaphor, exploring both the horror of confinement as well as the power of human nature to overcome trauma. You can read up on her bio by the statue of Teddy. We hope that each of you finds some comfort to carry with you over the week and some challenge for your thoughts. As always, we wish you health, well-being, and a sense of peace. As our pianist Yukiko Takangi brings us into worship with the first half of Mozart's Fantasy for Piano, Kekel 475, we bid you welcome.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. We're working right now on troubleshooting some audio-visual issues on Zoom. Please let us know in the chat. We're doing our very best here to make sure everyone can see and hear as well. So this morning, for our special multi-generational service, which is a European folktale, and Erica Hugh longer than usual. The stores of food that had been carefully gathered from the fall harvest were now nearly gone. In fact, the villagers and farmers in the valley were now growing fearful. It would still be weeks before the tender green shoots of new plants would come up through the rich soil of their gardens. It would be weeks before the plump fish returned to the nearby rivers. They were scared. Suddenly, through the morning mist, the villagers noticed two figures in the distance. Two people were walking up the road straight toward their village. Who could it be? Who is coming to visit this village, and what do they want? Today, here in this sanctuary, we have a chalice lighting song that will help us kindle the flame. Maybe it'll be a beacon for those who are trying to find their way to us. If I have any youngsters up here who would like to help us light the chalice, I bet Rose would love some help with that. And we are all going to sing together as we light this chalice. There's a song called Rise Up, O Flame. We're going to put the lyrics up here. It's in your gray hymnals as 362. We're going to sing it a couple of times through until this flame is burning brightly. It's also around if you wanted to get especially creative. So Michael, over to you to lead us in Rise Up, O Flame. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we sing.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
One more time.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Beauty, vision, and joy. Beautiful. You may have a seat. Michael and Rose are going to continue our story for us.
So remember, we're in a village now, a cold March village. And while we were lighting our chalice, the villagers in this dreary place were staring down the road, and they were watching these two strangers starting to approach. They had all sorts of questions. Would these strangers be friendly? Were they dangerous? What reason could they have for visiting their village, especially during these lean days of almost spring? Questions whirled around the villagers' minds. As the strangers entered the village, an elder stepped forward to greet them.
Good morning,
The elderly woman said.
and peace to you. Who passes this way? Greetings and peace to you.
The taller stranger replied.
We are simple travelers on a long journey.
The shorter stranger added.
We seek nothing but friendly people so that we might rest our feet for a day, share some stories and a meal, and sleep among friends tonight before continuing on our way.
The village elder rubbed her chin thoughtfully and responded.
You come in peace and are in need of rest. We are a humble village, but a friendly one, and we would welcome hearing the stories and news that you bring from far away. We have warm fires that will keep you safe and comfortable as you sleep. But a meal, you say? You want to share a meal? Do you bring this meal with you? Well,
The shorter stranger said.
we bring stories and news. And
The taller stranger said.
some lovely stones that I picked up along the way.
The shorter stranger rolled her eyes when her friend said this and whispered, You and those stones, you just had to pick them up and lug them around with you. She then turned to the elder, the village elder, and the other villagers and added in a louder voice,
We bring important news from the cities on the other side of the mountain, madam. We bring stories of intrigue and suspense from those who have fought dragons and lived to tell the tale. We bring the juiciest gossip from the court of the king. But we do not, I hope you can understand, bring a meal. Unless you want to chew on my stone collection.
the taller stranger said as her friend rolled her eyes. The elder turned back to consult the villagers about what to do with these strangers who had just appeared, and after a few moments of quiet talk amongst them, she said to the strangers,
We're eager to hear your stories, my friends, and your news. As a lover of adventure, I'm particularly interested in hearing about this dragon you mentioned. Our offer of a fire and friendship still stands. You may join us for this day and night, but we hope you can understand this has been a hard winter, and we have very little food to get us through to the growing season. There's barely enough food for ourselves, so we can't provide you with a meal.
The strangers looked at each other, nodded, and thanked the elder for the offer of simple sanctuary. As they headed toward the village, the strangers spoke quietly to each other.
Drat,
The taller stranger said.
I'm hungry. What are we going to do? How will we eat?
The shorter stranger responded,
We'll think of something. Just please, stop with the stones. I'm tired of hearing it.
What hardship. Everyone's hungry, but no one seems able to share their food. As we let the strangers and the villagers find their way to the village, let's now sing all together here about a different kind of sharing. Please join me now in our next hymn, number 346. Come sing a song with me. You may rise and body your spirit.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song. and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me, come dream a dream with me, come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me, come walk in rain with me, come walk in rain with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me, come share a rose with me, come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Beautiful. You may have a seat as our story continues as a plan starts to emerge. The two strangers were happy to enter the village. They found a beautiful glade of trees where they could be comfortable. As they settled in, their growling stomachs, though, reminded them that while they'd met with good fortune in the village, it wasn't outstanding fortune. The villagers seemed hungry or stingy or both. It was hard to tell. What was clear was that the villagers wouldn't be offering food to the strangers anytime soon. As the two travelers sat warming by the fire, they sighed and grumbled to each other about how hungry they were. It seemed like their minds could only focus on food. They pictured a big stack of fluffy pancakes with juicy blueberries and wildflower honey on top. Then they pictured a platter of succulent grilled fish with roasted vegetables and sea salt and potatoes. Little roasted potatoes, crispy little salty potatoes. The tall strangers shook their head.
To tell you the truth, I'd settle for a nice hot bowl of soup. Too bad all we have are these stones. You're right, it was silly to pick them up. You can't make soup out of stones. Nope, nope, nope.
The other stranger was getting annoyed with her friend and said,
That's it. You won't stop talking about those stones, and now you're reminding me about all this food we don't have. It's getting me so frustrated. Stones, soup, stones, soup, stones, soup, stones, soup, stones, soup. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, I have an idea. Would you please show me one of those pretty stones?
They replied,
Now you're interested in my stones after all that?
The shorter stranger said,
How would you like to make a little magic with this stone? I think I could help us make a very nice meal. I can't imagine how, but I'm all ears. Tell me what you have in mind.
The shorter stranger started whispering to her friend, eager to share this new idea. After whispering for a little while, they went over to the gathering of villagers to put their new plans into action. The strangers approached the village elder and asked for a cooking pot. The villagers were visibly confused. The stranger had told them that there was no food to speak of after all. But they brought out a pot anyway. Do we have a pot here? Good, good, good. The elder, with ladle. Perfect. The elder asked them about the purpose of this pot, and the taller stranger replied,
Well, you see, we just remembered that some of these stones my companion's carrying are, well, they're of the magic variety, you see, and we want to thank your village for your hospitality by making stone soup.
The villagers were as puzzled as ever. They'd never heard of such a thing as stone soup, and it certainly didn't sound appealing. The strangers reassured them.
We promise the stone soup is appetizing and delectable, and it's very simple to make. All you need is the right stone, which we have, and a cooking pot, which we very much hope you'll lend us, and some fresh water from your well, which shouldn't be a problem. And finally, a small fire on which to cook, which is already before us.
The villagers were intrigued, so they brought forth that large cooking pot, which the strangers gratefully accepted. Together, the strangers and curious villagers stoked the fire. I think we have some fire ready here. And they filled the pot with water. And they added the mysterious stones. Does somebody, perhaps Robin could pass those stones from the lectern down to our cooking pot. The strangers said the soup would take some time to prepare. And so, as the pot began to simmer, the villagers stood around watching, more curious than ever, but also more hungry than ever.
We know that there are hungry people in our own community who would be fed and comforted by the gift of food from a stranger. And so in a moment, we'll collect the food offering that you brought with you this morning, which we'll donate to the JP and Rosendale Community Fridge and Pantry. These community fridges started popping up all around the country during the pandemic with the idea that everyone can take what they need and give what they can. See if you can find them when you're out and about. The JP fridge is behind City Feed, and the Rosendale fridge is by Rosendale Market. At the same time, we'll also collect a financial offering to support and sustain our congregation. Links to donate will be in the chat, or you can take a meditative moment writing out a check and sending it to the church after the service. As we sing, "From You I Receive," we invite you to come forward to give any food or funds that it would feel good to give. If mobility is a challenge, give us a wave and an usher will come to you. An offering to feed our neighbors and sustain our congregation will now be gratefully received.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. To you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you for your generosity.
As the two strangers began brewing their stone soup, the hungry villagers looked on, and so the magic began. The villagers started to ask questions.
Where did you learn how to make stone soup? Is it a traditional food in your homeland?
The strangers insisted that they had made this soup many times and that it was always delicious. They started discussing the other times they had made this soup, reminiscing about the other things they had added to it. One of the strangers said,
If only we had an onion or two. When we add onions to this soup, it is good enough to tempt the gods themselves to come down and eat with us.
At that, one of the villagers chimed in,
I might be able to help with that. I have some onions in my cellar that I was saving for, it doesn't really matter. Would you like them for your soup? Of course.
said the strangers.
Thank you.
As the onions were added, the strangers continued to stir and smell the soup. They noted how good it was becoming, saying,
Yes, now it is becoming sublime stone soup. But to be truly sublime, we'd also need to add a few carrots. If only we had some carrots to add.
That got the attention of another watching villager who said,
Actually, I might have a few carrots left in my cellar. May I give them to you for our soup?
The strangers replied,
Yes, of course you may add your carrots.
Once the carrots were added and the soup started to smell even better, the villagers started to become bolder. One by one, they started to step forward to offer the small treasures they had saved in their cellars. A potato or two, a small cabbage, a handful or two of beans. Someone even found a small bowl of barley to add to the increasingly delicious soup. Every time someone brought forward a small contribution to the soup, the strangers gratefully accepted it and stirred it into the soup pot. Well, almost every time. When one of the village elders wanted to add in a can of anchovies, the strangers politely declined. And so the soup pot, now filled with an assortment of vegetables and grains, began to release its tantalizing aroma throughout the village. Everyone's mouth was watering and stomach grumbling to think of eating such a fine meal. The stone soup was nearly complete, and the villagers' hope and gratitude began to crowd out thoughts of hunger.
And before we here join the villagers in this feast, we pause to find our reasons for hope and gratitude. Will you all join me in a moment of prayer and meditation, even as we finish our soup? Spirit of life and love, too often when we see somebody in need, our hearts turn to stone. Too often the people who cross paths with us move us to indifference or irritation, or they simply become invisible to us amid the burdens that we carry. This week, or even this day, we will surely encounter someone or something that might cause our hearts to turn to stone. When that happens, gentle guide, may we remember that of all the gifts you give, the greatest of these is love. May our hearts open not just to those who are close to us, but to all people and beings whom we encounter. Let our judgment turn to forgiveness. Let our irritation give way to patience. Let us live our belief in compassion and love. During this time of silent, quiet meditation, let us savor this moment here and now and the company we share. Let's take a few quiet breaths together.
As we return to our villagers, we see that their meal, this overflowing pot, is finally ready. After cooking for a whole afternoon, the strangers and their magic stones had prepared a soup that was now ready to be eaten. The strangers told everyone to step right up to the soup with their bowls and spoons. If you all want to step up to the soup, you can get some. They assured the whole village that we could not possibly run out because this was a magic soup. After all, the pot was bottomless. No matter how old they were, every villager had their fill of soup from the bubbling pot. You want to take a spoonful? Take a spoonful. Soup. Nice. Is it good? Yummy? Awesome. Yeah, James can get some too. Thank you. So every villager had their fill from this bubbling pot, and everyone agreed that it was the tastiest soup that they had ever eaten. And no one could quite believe that the strangers made it from just a few small stones. That night, the villagers all slept soundly, with full bellies and grateful hearts. It was a little easier then to believe that spring, with his bounty of food, was just around the corner. It was easier for the villagers to hope that they'd never know such deep hunger again. And it was satisfying for the villagers to reflect upon welcoming strangers among them. They had received a gift they'd never expected. All of us here, too, have so much to share, not only with one another, but also with the community around us. Look at this huge bounty of food that we've gathered here today. In this story, the strangers told the villagers that they created this soup with some magic stones. I have a few questions for all of you. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe that these stones were magic? Yeah, Zachary, what do you think? Zachary says, you want to say that stone soup is a real thing? Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah, James, did you have a hand too? What did you want to say? Do you believe that the stones were magic? Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I think these stones were really actually magic, because what one person might call magic could also be known by other names. It could be known as grace, or random acts of kindness, and senseless acts of beauty, and even luck. If you pay attention, if all of us pay attention, we'll find that we can experience these moments of magic and acts of grace everywhere, all around us. It's easy to find problems in the world, to notice them wherever we go. It takes a little skill and intention to find grace, kindness, magic from moment to moment. We have one more part of our story to go. At the close of this story, we return to the village for one last scene. Early in the morning, the next day, after the villagers have shared their abundant soup the night before, with the first call of the rooster, the strangers began to prepare for their journey. As they stepped onto the road, a few of the villagers came to see them off. The village elder asked if they must go so soon, and the villagers said,
Go we must. Our journey continues.
The elder asked,
Before you leave, I have two questions for you. Two questions that all of us have been asking since our meal. The first is this: why did you take such kindness upon us?
The strangers replied,
It was you who were first kind to us. You welcomed us into your village despite your current hardship. Our kindness was more than just repaying your kindness. However, it is our way and the way of our people. It is as they write in some of our holy texts. We live by some important sayings like, do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by this some have entertained angels without knowing it. And if a stranger lives among you, do not do him wrong. Strangers living among you will be like your own people. Love them as you love yourself, because you were once strangers. Also, we really like soup.
The village elder took this in and replied,
Thank you. Thank you for entering our village as strangers and leaving as friends.
The strangers began to walk away, waving happily as they left. Just when they were out of sight, the elder remembered their second question.
Wait. Where did you get that magic stone?
But the strangers were already too far away to answer. The villagers never learned exactly where the strangers had found the magic stone. But over the years, the wisest among them realized that the stones were all around them, before their very eyes. In the spirit of sharing our gifts, let's sing one more hymn together. Hymn number 404, What Gift Can We Bring? Please rise in body or in spirit and raise your voices in song.
What gift can we bring? What present, what token? What words can convey it, the joy of this day? When grateful we come, remembering, rejoicing, what song can we offer in honor and praise? Give thanks for the past, for those who had vision, who planted and watered so dreams could come true. Give thanks for the now, for study, for worship, for mission that binds us, turn prayer into deed. This gift we now bring, this present, this token, these words can convey it, the joy of this day. When grateful we come, remembering, rejoicing, this song we now offer in honor and praise.
Beautiful. You may have a seat. And while our folktale concludes, our story continues in the worship life of this congregation. Just as our story was about welcoming people among us, today we get to have the special, sweet moment of welcoming in new members as we joyfully grow our spiritual family here at Theodore Parker Church. I'm joined by some folks from the Welcoming Ministry team, and together we are delighted to welcome and celebrate 5 new members whom I'll invite to join us up here as we say your names. You can come on up kind of right in front of the pulpit as we call your names. Bill O'Connor and Marcos Amaral, Deanna Wong, Lori Sutherland and Dave Arney with their 2 kids, Zachary and Eleanor Arney Sutherland. Yeah. You actually might want to be down here because I believe we have something for you. I think Rose and Kathy and Ashley have some gifts for you all. Great. We're working on flowers here, perfect. Here in this congregation, human beings have gathered for centuries, seeking a higher purpose and deeper life than they could find alone. We are grateful today for each of you, that you have found your way here and that you have decided to make a commitment to this faith community. We hope that as members of this church, you will allow yourselves to know and to be known, to minister to and to be ministered unto, to love and to be loved by this congregation. We never really know what combination of fate and friendship and good luck it is that brings certain people together in this world for any purpose. But we believe that membership in the church calls each of us here to celebrate the fate that has drawn us together, and to regard each one as a spiritual friend and potential teacher, even of occasional hard lessons. The relationships we form in our church are based on the needs of the soul, needs that render each of us vulnerable and therefore reliant on each other's grace and goodness and generosity of spirit. As members of this church, we pledge to be guardians of each other's spirit, to respect the ultimate privacy of each one's human struggle, and to believe in each one's inherent dignity. And so, to the assembled congregation of Theodore Parker Church, united in the bonds of fellowship and love, these individuals are now members of this congregation of memory and hope. Will you please join me in welcoming them with words of congregational affirmation, which you'll see up on your screen in a moment and in the chat. I invite you to join with me in saying them here. We welcome you as members of our congregation into the community of all that we have been and are and hope to be. We welcome you into this community of spirit, learning, and service. We welcome you for who you are and for who you become. We ask that you accept us as we are, trusting that together we can be more than we have dared to imagine. Beloveds, welcome home. And we do have one more hymn for you. This is a special one for members as we go on the journey. I'm excited to teach this one for you. Folks down here, you're welcome to head back to wherever is cozy for you to sit or stand, because we're going to sing. This song is called Where You Go, I Will Go. The text is from the book of Ruth in the Bible. The music is by Shoshana Jedwab. So I'm going to sing it to you and invite you to sing it back to me. We have some lyrics up here. Yukiko, could I have a D? Thank you. So the first part goes like this. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Let's sing that together. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. And then it repeats that same thing again. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Second part's a little different, and I'll sing it and you sing it back. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. And then similar but slightly different half. For your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Beautiful. I invite you to rise in body, rise your spirit. We'll sing through together twice. It goes part A, part B. Ready? Where you go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go for your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved.
Where you go, I will go. One more time for your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Beautiful. You may have a seat. We share a few announcements and invitations so that you can stay connected with the life of this congregation. If you missed the announcement at the very beginning, this month we're featuring the artwork of Gay Jealous, who arrived after we announced of Gay. If you want to give us a wave so folks can chat with you afterwards at Social Hour, if you'd like to learn more about the artist and her process. We also have the worship team has a question for you all as we're trying to get our accessibility needs met, as well as making our AV system even better for us all. We know that there's this lag sometimes, often between the video and the sound, and that there's a bit of a kind of an issue with lip syncing. And we're trying to figure out, we can kind of either fix the annoyance of the lip sync by getting rid of the Jumbotron effect up here, but that would get rid of the captions. Or we can have the captions and just deal with the fact that there's a little bit of a lag. And we want to make sure that we're helping as many people as possible with that. So if you'd like to chat with me, let me know if the captions up here, even when they're, sometimes amusingly inaccurate, if they make a difference for you in you being able to follow along. Please let me, Rose, or Michael know in the next week or so. Or if the lip sync is really hard makes it really hard for you to follow along, let us know that too, and we'll do our best to try and weigh those together. So today at Social Hour, we have quite a lot going on. There's coffee hour over in the parish hall through these doors and either up through the breezeway or around. During that coffee hour, several things will be happening. We'll be having a committee fair. So a bunch of folks who are involved in the life of this congregation will be around to talk about what different parts of church life are up to these days. And we know that a lot of folks are involved in many different parts of church life. So when you get over to the parish hall, you might see, I think over on the stage, some little sticky name tags. And you can write, "Ask me about," and list any parts of church life that you'd be willing to chat with somebody about. You can say, "Ask me about music and worship, finance committee," whatever it is. If you'd be willing to chat with somebody about what you love about your church experience, that would be great. Also at that coffee hour, Carol Allen will have some flyers for our upcoming April Music on Center concert. They're gorgeous. If you're able to hang those up around town, Carol, if you'll give a wave, folks can find you. Folks can also find Claire Barker at the coffee hour. Our Theodore Parker lecture is coming up next Sunday, and we really would love folks to pre-register so that we know how many folks to expect. We can make sure you get the Zoom link. Claire will have her laptop set up, so we can also know how much food to have, so you can sign up with her there. Also, by the end of today, it's our kind of last call. We're going to be signing folks up for some small group social time. We had candlelight dinners for a while. This might be that. It might be a potluck. It might be a dessert reception. If you'd love to gather in small groups for a meal or appetizers, for just some social connection, there are links in the newsletter to sign up for that, or you can talk to me. I think those are all of the announcements. We hope we'll see you next Sunday for the Theodore Parker lecture after the service. We close with this reminder that this week, or even today, we will surely encounter someone or something who might cause our hearts to turn to stone. When this happens, may we remember that of all of the gifts we are given, the greatest is love. May our hearts open not just to those who are close to us, but to all people and beings whom we encounter. Let our judgments turn to forgiveness, our irritation give way to patience, and let us live our beliefs in compassion and love. So may it be, and amen.